And greetings and welcome to the QCast. This is season 3, episode 15. Again, I appreciate all of you that have been so supportive of the QCast. And holy smokes, guys, seriously, this is the first time in QCast history that I've had a guest where I've had like the guest's own gear.
There we
And
go.
there it is, folks. And obviously, this is one and only Ryan Turell of the Motor City Cruise, my first G League guest ever on the QCast. Ryan, this is a pretty big deal to have a G League player here on the QCast. Thanks for doing this. How the heck are you doing?
I appreciate you having me on. I'm doing really well. I'm out in Portland right now. We're playing the Maine Celtics tomorrow, and just flew in today, and I'm doing really well.
How cool is that? You're playing the Maine Celtics. So there's two Division III guys in the G League, Eric Demers from Gordon and Ryan Turell from Yeshiva. I hope you guys can somehow hook up to get a cool ass picture tomorrow. You got to
Yeah,
work on that, my friend.
we gotta get it. We gotta get one. They got a lot of cameramen out there, and hopefully we can get one. Me and Eric, that'd be cool.
How do you like my gear? I mean, I've been wearing this to D3 games in Dallas, and it is setting the D3 community here on fire. I mean, this, you got to admit, this is a good look on me, right?
You look great in it. You look great in it. Honestly, you really rock it more than I do. Honestly, you look great in it. I appreciate the support out in Dallas.
And we'll tell everyone just at the end how to kind of get hooked up with this merch. Ryan Turell merch. If you Google that, it'll get you right there. But we'll give you the URL as we get later. So Ryan, this has been a really cool journey to watch. I've watched, I would say, 80% of your games, and going from where you were in the first few games to where you are now, this has been an incredible progression. And before I dig into some stats and all that kind of stuff, what has this been like throughout your season this year, going from that opener to where you are heading into your game tomorrow? Just talk through the
Yeah.
season.
No, absolutely. I'm going to start with a training camp. That was when I first got there. I was coming off a broken foot. I was out for
Yeah.
5 months, and I pretty much had 3 weeks to prepare to try to get in the best shape I could and really prepare myself for training camp. And 3 weeks is obviously not enough time to get prepared. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I thought I put my phone on do not disturb.
Is that Gabe Lifer?
It is not Gabe Lifer calling. I wish it was Gabe Lifer calling. Hold on. I apologize. And yeah, so coming off the a 5 month injury, had 3 weeks to prepare, and I'm going to be honest with you. I was not at the top of my game. I wasn't where I was, before I got injured, and so I started out as the last man on the team, and a guy hungry for minutes and hungry for an opportunity, to try to work my way into the rotation. But I knew that I just had to work every day, keep getting better, and keep working hard, going up against these really good players,
right.
in practice every day. Just keep on progressing, keep on getting better every day. The difference in speed between the G League, which is some of the fastest basketball in the world, and Division III, which is a lot of really talented players, but it's a lot more of a half court set game.
Right.
You're running sets. You're using a whole shot clock. Division III basketball, I feel like it is very chess like, where you're really thinking about your moves and listening to what your coach wants you to run, and to hop from that into, okay, let's get it up the court and try to shoot in the first 6 seconds of the shot clock, sprint the floor, and just back and forth, back and forth. It was definitely an adjustment, but something that I've gotten used to now, and hope to keep continuously get better as the season goes on.
And the progression, like you said, you really, for a while, you weren't very healthy in the beginning, and no one expected you to get a lot of minutes. No one except these crazy yeshiva fans, and we're going to get to them in a second. I mean, they're like, why isn't this guy playing every single minute? We're going to get to how I need you to help me help these people out, Ryan. We're going to get there now. the last 9 games since you've gotten at least 10 minutes a game, and there's been as high as 17. Went back and looked at some stats. You're 24 of 37 from the field, which is 65%. You're 11 to 27 from three, which is 41%. Both of those numbers are through the roof outstanding. You only have 2 turnovers in that span. If you look at your regular season, which it's interesting the way that the G League does it, but you're 3 regular season games in now, even though you've played a bunch. You're averaging 11 points a game in 15 minutes a game. You're shooting 63% from the field and 50% from three. Now, we're not going to jump up and down and do a victory dance because I know that you want to be playing more than that, but it's got to feel really good to be in this position and kind of starting to settle in and starting to produce. Is that fair to say?
No, absolutely. It's definitely fair to say, and to be able to play at this level and play professional basketball in general is just a privilege. It's cool to wake up every day and this is what I do. I get on a I get on a flight with all my
Right.
teammates. I'm like, this is professional basketball. It's just a blessing to be here. But to be able to see myself getting better and see myself getting used to the game and the physicality and athleticism is really cool. And I just hope to keep on doing that.
I was looking at the roster and just kind of where some of your teammates are from. And I mean, Syracuse, UNC Wilmington, Cal Poly, Seton Hall, Wisconsin, Green Bay, Louisville, Richmond, Arkansas, just to name a few. Um, it's a crazy jump that you're making here to go from Division 3, which we both know is outstanding, but to go from Division 3 to this, your team and then everyone you play are these Division 1 guys. Many of them were all Americans. Um, do you ever kind of have to pinch yourself a little bit to think like a year ago I was playing Farmingdale State and now here I'm getting ready to play the Maine Celtics? Like, is it a pinch yourself thing or are you settled in now?
At this point, I'm settled in. I thought it was, really cool at first. Devontae Kaycock's one of my teammates. They're calling him the best power forward in the G League. I happen to agree with that statement. But I grew up a Laker fan, and he was on the bubble team that won that NBA championship.
Right.
So that was kind of like a cool pinch yourself moment. But other than that, I mean, what I try to focus on, at the end of the day, when you're in between the lines, it's the same basketball, it's the same hoop, it's the same game, and it's the same thing that I've been doing my whole life. Division 1, 2, 3, whatever. At the end of the day, we're all on the same court and we're all playing the same game.
It's been widely covered that your journey here, you're trying to become the first Orthodox Jew to play in the NBA, which is incredible. And I have to ask because I think this every time that I watch you play, especially in those early games when I'm watching the game and you're not on the floor, you're on the bench, and I want to talk about that too. And you can just see this crowd of Ryan Turell supporters behind you or over here, and they're chanting. I remember I captured a video of like Ryan, Ryan. Um, I, I mean, how much pressure is on you, right? It's got to be tremendous. You're not just, it's hard enough to try to make the NBA, but
Right.
you've got all these people that like are on this journey with you and they're rooting so hard for you. How much pressure do you feel with all of that?
I don't feel pressure, to be honest with you. You know what I feel? I feel inspired to just work harder every day and just try to keep on, working to try to make that, that goal and that dream a reality. So that as much as the fans feel inspired by me being on the court, I feel inspired by them supporting me everywhere I go and cheering me on, and it's just an amazing feeling. And I hope that one day when 20, 30 years down the line, I can sit back, and turn on the TV and see a few yarmulkes on an NBA court. That'd be really cool.
A couple of things just before we move away from this is the early games. Again, I'm tuning into these just to see maybe if you get in and can I see his first basket, which I did. But the thing I noticed was, there's that term like bench energy, and there's every great basketball team I've ever seen, they've got guys on the bench who are into the game and just providing energy to the guys on the floor. You were on your feet, still are. Every time you're on the bench, on your feet, supporting your teammates, you're engaged every minute of the game. That obviously was something you probably weren't used to, right? You weren't ever, you played like
Sure.
37 minutes a game at Yeshiva, and your whole life you've always been on the floor. So how did you make this adjustment to being a guy for a while there that was on the bench the majority of the game and having to kind of figure out what your role was?
Yeah, it's a great question. For me, there are controllables in basketball and there are uncontrollables in basketball. You know, you can't control, how many minutes you're gonna get, how many times you're gonna touch the ball, how many fouls the refs are gonna call for you.
Right.
You know, you can't control those things. But what you can always control is your effort, your voice, your energy, you know, how good of a teammate you're gonna be. So, what I try to do is excel at the controllables. If I excel at the controllables, everything else will follow, and everything else will fall in line. So at yeshiva, I know for a fact that when the bench was loud and going and
Right.
energized, it came onto the court. Didn't matter if it was the last guy cheering or the sixth man cheering, or even if Gabe subbed out and he was cheering, right? You feel that energy on the
Right.
court, and so what I felt that my responsibility was, if when I'm not in the game, try to bring that energy and try to send it to the guys on the court.
I I thought it was cool because one of the, I guess, the questions that I have is about your teammates and all this, and I'll make this statement first and then ask the question. There was that mic'd up thing that the G League did recently, and one of your teammates on the screen, he was to your left. He's number 21. He asked you. He says, what is it like to be one of the most popular players in the G League? And that was a cool moment for me because I have spent a lot of this season thinking like I hope that this thing that is surrounding Ryan, all this attention and all the people chanting, like that could go a lot of different ways with teammates. Like your teammates could be the type that'd be like, screw this guy. I mean, who's this the D3 guy that's not playing and everyone loves him? It was cool
Right.
for me to see that mic'd up thing. So talk to me about how this has been for your teammates to kind of process all this stuff going around.
Yeah, shout out to Chandre Jones. That was him. His
Sean
brother
Tracy.
is
Yeah,
Yeah, his brother's on Christopher Newport.
that's right.
So pretty cool. I see him watching those
And
games
did he
all the
play at
time.
Richmond? Richmond?
He played at Richmond.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I
Yeah.
believe so. I think that's right. But my teammates have been incredibly supportive. I couldn't have asked for a better situation, teammate wise, where the guys are curious and asking questions about my religion and where I come from and Division III basketball. Like they're curious. They want to know, and I'm happy to share my culture with them, just like they're happy to share their culture with me and their background with me. So it's overall just an amazing experience, and I love all my teammates. It's just a great place to be.
Yeah, and it was cool earlier in the season when you did that, your kind of patented up and under and whatever we call that
We're,
move that
we're,
you
we're we're calling it the spinning dreidel now.
yeah,
I
the
I, I
spinning dreidel,
I saw
which
that on the comment. I'm
I
like, that's
think
too good.
I think you got my guy Pete Lambesis on that, and you got a lot of people on that. But when you did that to watch the bench was another very cool thing. Like to watch how happy they were for you was outstanding. Let me ask you this, Ryan. So this is where I got to bring in my yeshiva fans, who obviously I have so many friends that have come of this thing, which is incredible, and uh, they are rooting so hard for you, and they they want you to get to the NBA. I'm speaking for all of us in Division III. I'm speaking for the Orthodox Jewish community, which I'm not part of, obviously.
Right.
Everyone's
What are you
rooting
talking
so
about?
hard.
You're the rabbi of New York now, aren't you?
I don't know
Now we
when.
get
I don't know if that runs out. I got to ask Ari, but I
fair.
hope I still am. I want to be. I think I've been a good one. uh, but just thinking a little bit about like people on Twitter, I've read that they think you're going to the show. Like, oh my God, he had 21 points, and I think he's getting called up. And what I've tried to do, and you have to tell me if this is the right approach. I've tried to kind of just calm everyone down because it is uh, it's a jump. Like I went to the Mavs Lakers game here in Dallas on Christmas Day, and I paid a lot of money so I could watch LeBron and Luca really close because I'd never seen LeBron play, and I just sat there thinking like, holy crap, is this like I've been to a lot of NBA games, but like thinking of you, thinking of Division 3, like holy crap, is this like athletically, speed, a whole different ball game.
Sure.
What's the adjustment here? Like, where does this go, Ryan? Like, how there's there where you are now to where you need to get to make this dream come true. Like,
Right.
how does this play out?
Um, you know, first of all, for me, uh, well, obviously LeBron and Luca are two of the top five best players on the planet right now. So, yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get to there, but for me, what I have to do to make it to the next level is to be in the best shape on the court. I'm not going to be the most athletic. I'm not going to be the most physically gifted or the strongest on the court. But what I can do is be the most in shape. If you ever watch shooters run around, JJ Redick, Luke Kennard,
Right.
Steph Curry, these are guys that are in the best shape on the court, and that's something that I'm going to have to be if I want to make it to the next level. A guy who can shoot 40% from three, that will be my role. At the next level, they want me to be able to hit threes and at a high clip, and I got to be able to defend at that level, at that speed, to where not to where in the NBA, if they see a guy that can't defend, they're putting him in a pick and roll and they're going iso ball on him.
Right.
So I got to be able to be good enough defensively where they don't do that. So be in the best shape possible, hit 40% of my threes or above, and be able to defend. Those are my three things that I need to be elite at.
And that's very well said. Control what you can control. And the other thing, that game I went to with my wife on Christmas, that was I'm looking at Austin Reeves, and I'm like, hey, that's a 6'6" wing player. He plays the two, he plays the three, he shoots the heck out of it. He's really mobile. Um, Look, I'm not trying to draw comparisons, but I'm simply trying to say there's a path. If you can play, you can play, right?
Right.
Austin Reeves is a guy. Austin Reeves wasn't drafted, and he's playing big minutes for the Lakers,
Oh yeah,
right?
he is. I think he's their sixth or seventh man. He's playing really well too.
If you can play, you can play, and so that's something that I'm glad to hear you kind of have this path in your head of controlling what you can control, your physical conditioning. What about the weights? Like, have they had you on a certain program to add a certain amount of muscle, or like what's the story been in the weight room?
Yeah, sure. I mean, well, first of all, I've leaned. I've gotten more lean since I've gotten here. I haven't necessarily gained or lost weight, but I've leaned out. I've lost body fat, which is good. But you don't really put on pounds during the season because of how
Right.
much
Yeah.
you're doing cardio and whatnot. But it's you're lifting every day. That's the regimen. Like even if it's you know 25 minutes here, 20 minutes there, like you even on the road we lift. So it's about consistency. If you lift every day, you're going to see progression over time, and so that's what it is. And over the off season, I'm sure they're going to have some magical plan where I'm
Right.
eating so many calories and lifting weights, but we'll cross that bridge when that gets there. I'm excited for it, but it's just about consistency.
Getting a little deeper, anti-Semitism is something that's been, unfortunately, a hot topic. It seems like the last six months or so, with lots of, we won't name names, but just lots of well-known people saying a lot of crazy things. Can't imagine being as in the spotlight as you are, what you must deal with on that front. You're always just such a positive role model person that you'd never guess. But I had Elliot Steinmetz on the QCast a little while ago to talk about this topic. I'm just curious what your take would be for those tuning into the QCast. how do we combat anti-Semitism in the United States, in the world? Any thoughts you have about I think that people would appreciate hearing from you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, for me, I understand that, I have a platform right now, and to shed a light on the Jewish community. So I always try to, be a role model, and we call it acting like a mensch, which is a respectful person, and someone you would look up to. Um, you know, for a lot of people, a lot of people I'm meeting and playing against and playing with, I'm the first Orthodox Jew they're really experiencing. And so what I try to do is I try to treat people respectfully, and just show them that we're humans too, and we're all brothers, and we're all family, and you know let's all love each other, and I think that's super important.
Um, Curious on how you've chosen to handle Shabbos with everything going on, and I know that you've had some tough decisions to make around that. Obviously, there are games that take place on Friday nights or potentially early on Saturday. Can you give us just kind of the summary version of how you've decided? How are you making that work? What have you had to kind of sacrifice, or just talk us through that, if you would?
Yeah, sure. I mean, first of all, the Detroit Pistons organization, Arm, they've all been amazing when it comes to this, super understanding, and very helpful when it comes to booking hotels and being in the right city at the right times and whatnot. I'm actually gonna have to stay in Maine for a couple extra days because they're flying out Saturday morning. I can't do that,
Right.
so I'm here till Sunday morning. But what I do is I stay by a hotel as close as possible to the gym. Sometimes that's across the street. Sometimes that's a mile and a half, two
Right.
miles. And what I do is I get the schedule of what we need to do, but before the Sabbath, and or Shabbat, or whatever you want to call it. And so I'll walk to the gyms, and get there early, and you know meet the team there, and play the game, and then walk back from the gym to the hotel. And it's something that I've done before. I bring my kosher food, obviously, and I bring it's something called a blech, which is like a heater for your food that you're allowed to use on the Sabbath. But it's something that I've done before in AAU, in the AAU circuit, with my father, and so something that I'm used to, and something that I'm excited to continue to do. To be able to, when I'm walking on those walks, I'm you know thinking about, like, wow, I'm really blessed to be able to do this, and this is really cool. This is just all part of the journey, and it's a really cool experience.
It is cool. Everything about what you're doing right now is cool. Um, Couple weeks, about a week ago or so, you had a monster game. You played 17 minutes, you had 21 points. You were 8 of 10 from the field. You were 4 of 5 from 3. You had 3 rebounds. What I thought was cool was, going into that game, I'm getting texts from my guy Gabe Lifer, and there's Gabe and Morty sitting right there, right by your bench, right by your head coach. And that must have been pretty cool to have your teammate and his father in the house on the night that you have your career high. Talk us through what that experience was like that night.
Well, first of all, just seeing Gabe Lifer, my buddy, and my running mate at yeshiva. It was just really cool to see him, come out and support. And he told me he was coming to the game, but to actually see him, I thought it was a really cool thing, and I was really appreciative that he was able to make the trip up. And then also, it was really cool to get my career high in front of him, and give him a little bit of a show as he came up. I told him he has to come to every game now.
Oh,
If I'm going to play like that. Um, but it was really cool experience to get that. The coach told me after the game that he was kind of whispering in my coach's ear, hey, put him in. Number 7 looks good. Number 7 looks good. I'm like, Gabe Lifer was doing that, but
well,
it was.
he actually, that's what he was texting me. So, like, at the end of a quarter, somewhere along the way, they put you in and you hit a shot. And I get this text from Gabe. It said, like, I was in his ear. I told him to put him in. And now I guess the story checks out all of a sudden.
Yeah. No, he's not lying, and my coach can agree with that. He was he was definitely talking to him and trying to get me some more burn, which was cool.
The just a couple more questions. I know how busy you are. You're in Portland, Maine. You're getting ready for games. Some of these post game pictures are just I don't know. They're heartwarming is not a strong enough word. They're incredible. They're incredible. Just these like lines of people, and little kids with kippas on. And I mean, it's as Elliot is your college coach, Elliot Stein would say, it's bigger than basketball stuff
Right.
that's going on. As you're sitting at those tables signing those autographs, or you're taking these group photos with 100 people, like what has that been like for you to be in the middle of? That must be
I
incredible.
It's just been an incredible experience, and you take a step back and you realize like this is bigger than basketball. To be able to inspire a group of people and people to pursue their dreams, or be proud of who they are. When you get texts and emails and DMs saying like, "Hey, I haven't worn my kippah to work in 15 years, but I'm going to start wearing it to work," or "Hey, I haven't kept kept Shabbat for I don't know how long, and but I'm going to start trying to keep it, or wrap tefillin." Those are the texts that really are amazing to me, and surreal to me, and made me step back and go, "Whoa! Like this is bigger than basketball, and this is really cool to be able to inspire."
Something you'll enjoy is there's an Orthodox Jewish school here in Dallas, Yavna Academy, which is where Ofek went, Ofek Reef, and
Sure.
they organized a basketball game. Long story short, with a powerhouse Christian school from near Austin, Texas, and they had a Shabbos lunch where the two teams came together. And because it was so similar to the Yeshiva Illinois Wesleyan story, the coaches from both teams asked me to come speak at this thing,
I love it.
and they asked me to wear a kippah, which I thought that you'd appreciate, and of course I
That's
did.
great. I
And
love it.
it was cool because as they were talking, doing some of the speeches, one of the coaches said, "Who's heard of Ryan Turell?" And every kid on both teams raised his hand. Every kid on both teams, not just the Yavna kids, but the kids from Faith Academy as well. Um, did you ever see that coming? Like a
Yeah.
bunch of a bunch of kids like that they all know who you are.
No, I honestly no. I did not, but it's really cool to be able to like I have a platform right now. I just want to it's shed a light on the Jewish community as a whole, and try to be a role model for people.
Absolutely. Got to ask you about the Max. It's been an up and down season. Um, they're very talented. I was
Yeah.
there I was at the Shirk Center the opening night, and I just first of all I got to ask you about Zevi. Zevi Samit, boy, you've got a unique talent there. He's not a finished product yet, but you got to be pretty amazed by some of the shots this kid is knocking down in his first year at Yeshiva.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, he's really talented. I was trying to get him to come the year before my last year, but I knew that was not that was not doable. I was just kind of like floating the question in there, but no, he's incredible. He's a really talented kid. He's only going to get better. He's an incredibly hard worker. I remember him. He texted me. I think he was a freshman or sophomore in high school. Like, "Oh, what are some drills to get better and whatnot?" And like, "Dude, just work hard." I'm like, "Dude, you're really good. Like, don't even stress. Like, keep going on the path you're going." He is really incredible. And I think this whole yeshiva freshman class
Yeah,
is
it's
one of
good.
the most talented classes they've ever had. They got him, they got Roy, they got Max Zackheim, who's really talented.
He's
The
quick.
the big man Doton, who's really talented. So they got guys that are really talented and young. Right now they're going through freshman growing pains. They play a lot of freshmen.
Yep.
And it's hard to win a college basketball game. I don't care what level you're playing at. It's hard to win games. I started off my college career 1-5. And that was in the Skyline, which people don't consider the strongest Division III conference, and it certainly wasn't that strong then, my freshman year.
But it's tough to win
So
games, isn't it?
it's tough to win games. So these guys are just learning that, like, you're playing against guys 4 years older than you, stronger, more mature. They know the game better. They know how to win college basketball games more, at that level. So you're playing against guys with experience, and you have no experience. You may have more talent, but you got to learn how to win and learn how to play. So they will. I'm not worried about their team at all. They'll figure it out. And I'm really excited to see these young cats get older. They're going to be a whole lot better
Yeah.
next year, and they're going to get a whole lot better the year after that. And if everything goes according to plan, they're going to be great by their senior years. Junior years, they'll be great as well. So I'm excited to see the development of this team.
Yeah, it's good that Zevi has kind of you to lean on, because you know what he's going through right now is that is an intense fan base. And he comes out of the gates in his second game, he drops 38 on us at our place. And I mean, just put on a show. And so
Right,
from that moment on, and then he had several other big games after that. He's got a lot
right.
of pressure on him, which you did too, walking in the door. So it's good that he has you to lean on. I have to also ask you about your guys, Valley Torah, the big game against Sierra Canyon, Bronny, James, and the boys. I mean, I had the Q line at like 29. It wasn't enough, but
Yeah, was not enough.
pretty cool though. Again, it's kind of like this, bringing worlds together. Don't you think it was cool that they played, and that was a good thing for both schools that they did that?
It was a great thing for both schools. They lit the menorah before the game. I thought that was really cool.
Really cool.
But Valley Tour's got some guys that may or may not be going to yeshiva. We'll see.
That
But
there's
they got some
Yeah,
players that Johnny Dan had 28 points.
he's
And,
good.
very efficient shooting. Noah Miyukas, he's going to be a 6'5" point guard. So, and he had 19 and whatever, however many assists. So they had some guys. Ethan List was balling, so they got some guys that are really talented as well. So I'm excited to see where those guys go too.
Yeah,
From my
they're
alma
good.
mater.
That is it. Johnny Dan, is that his name?
Johnny
He's
Dan,
he's good, and yeah,
he's
I don't
good.
know if he's
Noah Miyukas, he's special. He's gonna get to 6'5", 6'6", and he's a point guard. So, and he's a great passer. He's gonna be really good
that's
too.
really cool.
Um, yeah.
Before I ask you if there's anything we didn't cover, let's make sure that people that want to get some gear know how to get gear.
Yes.
Now, again, I said if you just Google Ryan Turell merch, it's the first link. But do you have the URL, or how do you steer people to get this cool stuff?
I think I texted you the URL, but the RT11 merch store, something like that. But Ryan Turell
There it is,
merch.
rt11.schoolmerch.shop. So
There we
again,
go.
rt11.schoolmerch.shop. Now, you're not 11 anymore. I mean, at some
No,
point we got the brandings all around. Maybe when you get to the NBA, let's get the 11 back. Can we? Because I like
hopefully
saying
we can get that
RT11.
back. I chose 7 because that's the day of the Sabbath. It's the seventh day, so I thought that was a cool retro number. But hopefully I can get to the 11 back. But we'll see.
That is cool. And let me just kick it to you. Is there anything we didn't cover today? 'Cause there's just so many things and by the way, I got to have you back, because the second most viewed QCast ever was Ryan Turell.
Oh, there we
And
go.
this one will certainly be viewed a lot. But is there anything we didn't cover that you want to throw out there for the folks tuning in here?
I think we got it covered, man. I don't know. I feel like we got it covered. How do you feel about this?
I feel good. And look, I'll just say this. First of all, is good luck these next two games. I mean, there's basketball to be played here. This story is one around basketball and winning games, right? And playing well. You play
Here
the
we go.
you play the Maine Celtics the next two nights, right? Back to back,
Back to
both
back.
both at 7 Eastern time. We talked about Eric Demers, another Division III alum, plays for Maine. So good luck there. And I would just say this, Ryan, is you continue, man, to be just a shining example, not just for the Jewish community, but any community that you're attached to, my friend. I mean, the Division 3 community, it's just great. It's been great to watch that whole Division 3 community embrace what you're doing. Everyone's so excited when you get on the floor, when you play well, when you make a basket, when you get a rebound. And I'm blown away at what you're doing with enormous stuff going on around you. You said you don't feel pressure. Um, I, I think it's amazing that you're handling this like you are, and so we need to keep doing some QCast because as this gets to be a bigger deal,
I
like
got you.
it could if there's a QCast and you're in the NBA, that's gonna be the most viewed. I gotta say, right? We're gonna get the NBA people watching that all of a sudden, right?
I loved it. Love it. Yeah. No, absolutely. I love getting on the QCast. You've been an incredible supporter of me and Yeshiva basketball, and I appreciate you. And I'll always find the time to get on a QCast.
Well, and please give my best to your father, who's one of the greatest people that I know. Your mom, Crazy Jack, your sister. You have a wonderful family, and Ryan Turell. That is the QCast Season 3, Episode 15. This guy plays for the Motor City Cruise, all the way from Yeshiva University in Valley Torah High School. Ryan Turell, best of luck to you, and we're going to talk real soon. Thanks, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you so much.